and today we are going to talk about how to convert this Timemore Chestnut C2 or C3 grinder from a step grinder to a stepless grinder. So as you all know, Timemore Chestnut C2 and C3 hand grinders are very well built and well designed hand grinders with a relatively cheaper price tag, but due to the step click mechanism and large pitch distance of the threads, these grinders have their limitations in espresso grade grind size adjustments. Now in this video I'll be talking about Chestnut C2 grinder more specifically, as I don't have the C3 version, but they both have the same design, so whatever I will be covering here can also be applied to the C3 grinder as well. Now Timemore claims that this grinder could produce espresso compatible fine grinds, but in actual testing the grind size was not fine enough for most of the espresso machines out there. The reason is they have a very narrow range for the grind adjustment selection, which is from 10 to 14 clicks, I guess. Right? Yes. Espresso it has written 10 to 14 clicks. And also there is a relatively larger gap per click. Right? In between two clicks there is a very larger gap. Now they have mentioned espresso here in the bottom, but in my point of view what they might be actually trying to denote us, ironically, is that this particular grind selection range is for the mocha pot espresso and not for the actual espresso machine. So now let's open this. Here's the detachable handle which they have given. Yes, and it is really good, as I've already told that these grinders are very well designed. So here comes the grind adjustment lock nut, and here is the dial plate. Here is the steel conical burr, and we have a couple of spring and a washer, I guess. Yes. And there is the internal burr. Never mind, I have used this grinder for testing purposes. And there is a bearing, you can see, and this is the axle. Now the threads you are seeing here is an M7 thread. So these threads are not easily available in the hardware shops, so be careful not to lose this nut, this lock nut. Otherwise this whole grinder will be ruined. Now I can say it's a very well designed hand grinder for every other brewing methods, just like a French press, a mocha pot, Chemex, V60, every other brewing methods, but not for a proper espresso. Now the C2 grinder has simple stainless steel conical burr, as you can see, which means by doing some modification it could give us an actual espresso machine compatible fine grounds. Now when we compare this grinder with what all other expensive hand grinders have, which are also espresso compatible, like Commanded Nitro Blade or King grinder or One Espresso, is that they have a very relatively smaller pitch distance, which means per one rotation of this lock nut, as you can see, where is the lock nut? Here. Now if I place this lock nut here, now per one rotation of this lock nut, the vertical movement of the burr or the nut itself is very less, so in turn the gap between the two burrs will reduce very slightly per one rotation, and this means that you will get more control over the grind settings, which is indeed needed for the espresso grind adjustments. But in this particular grinder we don't have that flexibility of smaller pitch distance for having more control over the grind sizes. So what we can do to make this grinder espresso compatible is, actual espresso compatible, is we can make this grinder stepless, which means no more clicks. Now you hear clicks because there are some notches in the lock nut, as you can see, as you might have been seen if you have this grinder with yourself, that these lock nuts have the notches. Yeah, they are the notches, and these notches stuck get stuck in the grooves made on the dial plate. Now this is the dial plate, and you can see there is grooved lines along the edges and grooved dots along the lines in a circle where this lock nuts actually fits, and you get a clicking sound like this. I will demonstrate you later. Now we will make this grinder stepless so that you get a bunch of control in selecting grind size even when it has a larger pitch. As you may have seen, most of the espresso grinders in the cafes have a stepless grind adjustment mechanism. Okay, so enough of the theory. I hope you have got what I just explained till now. But if still not, don't worry. It's an easy task. Just bear with me and follow what I'm doing. Now what you have to do is just to take this lock nut out of the grinder. Now let me reassemble everything so that you could get an idea how to do and what to do to get this grinder stepless. See, you have to just unscrew this and it will just pop off from the grinder. Now what you have to do is to take an aluminium washer like this. I don't know whether it is an aluminium or a GI galvanized tin coated washer, I don't know, but you have to get this kind of washer which I am having now and place it in between the dial plate and the grind adjustment lock nut like this. Although it doesn't matter whether it's like this or it is like this, it doesn't even matter. Just you have to put the washer in between the dial plate and the lock nut. Okay. Now one thing also you might want to consider that the washer's metal should be a bit less harder as compared to the lock nut. This will make sure your lock nut doesn't wear out as much as compared to the washer after a certain amount of use. Because I think this washer is made up of an alloy. I don't know which alloy they have used, but certainly this lock nut is having harder metal than this washer. So after using some time, the washer will get weared out quickly. Quickly, I means still it will be usable, but it will get wear out quickly as compared to the lock nut. So the life of your grinder will increase or will be like staying longer. Now what you have to do is to just screw in the lock nut like this. Now everything is pretty ready. Wait a minute. Now just keep on screwing the nut all the way down until the handle feels locked and doesn't move anymore, just as you do as usual while selecting the grind size. Now as you can see, the handle is not moving anymore on its own, which means it is the zero position. Yes. Now you can also see the markings or the grooves that will help you to analyze where the current position of the grinder is. This is the zeroth position of the grinder. Okay, so this is not moving. Now you have to unscrew the nut till 6 grooves or clicks have passed by. Now this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. 6 or 7, whatever you can select. Though I will not advise you to go below 6th groove or 6th position, as it may damage the burr. Even Timemore doesn't recommend to go below 6th click. For the actual adjustment, it would be just a matter of practice as of now. What you have to do is you have to just get, or I can say you have to just go full course settings in the grinder that your espresso machine can handle, and then slowly move towards the finer settings and play around it until you think that you have pulled out a decent cup of espresso out of your machine. Now you can see that now this grinder has become completely stepless. Now you can hear no more clicks. Alright, so you can see between two clicks, like this is the first one and this is the second one, there are plenty of other grind settings as well, this is the first, this is the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, right? So in between two clicks which we had earlier in this grinder, we now have currently 10 positions where we can move our lock nut to adjust the grind size. You can also consider this as a degree, like this is 1 degree, this is 2 degrees, 3 degrees, 4 degrees, 5 degrees, 6 degrees, like this. So whatever you may assume, it's your choice. Now there you go, you have made your Chestnut C2 a stepless grinder for espresso. And also these all modifications can be done to the C3 grinder as well, as both have the same design, relatively same design. They're not very completely different grinders, they have both same design. In C3 or C3S or C3S Pro, what they have made is that they have made more number of grooves on the dial plate. Now you can see the grooves in C3, C3S and C3 Pro. You get more number of grooves, so you get in turn more number of clicks and comparatively more control over the grind settings. They have also put their own patented burr in the C3 series, which they call as pike to curd or S2C burrs. Still, the modification we have done in the C2 grinder can also be done to the C3 grinders as well. Now coming to grinding time, I know it will be a concerning factor for grinding time, as it may take up to 3 to 4 minutes to grind the 18 gram of coffee beans. Yes, 18 or 20 gram of coffee beans may take up to 3 to 4 minutes, but it depends on the grind selection you have selected for the espresso range. But you could now at least have espresso grinds from it, right? It was not able to give you an espresso grind, but after making it stepless, you have infinite range of adjustment between two clicks even, right? You can take a permanent marker and just mark certain lines over here, so that whenever you have finished one batch of espresso and you want to make another espresso, you could just place the pointer back to that marker position and again you're good to go to make a good espresso. So yes, I hope you found this video helpful. If you like this content, do consider sharing this video with your friends, and hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. Peace.